Hello! Welcome to Jimmy's Records and Tapes. I'm Jimmy Pardo. Today we're talking about 1992.
We've got it on vinyl, CD and cassette.
We've got pop rock, heavy metal, punk, funk, rap, and new wave. All sales are final, but you'll never regret all the music you get at Jimmy's Records and Tapes.
I'm loving music again.
Hi there, welcome to Jimmy's Records and Tapes. I'm the Jimmy. Behind me are the Records and Tapes. I'm going to be talking about 1992 today. Let's talk about first what was going on in the world in 1992. Well, the first nicotine patch was introduced, so if you want to kick that habit, put a little patch on it and have people see on the street all the time and go, hey, what's that patch about? Then you got to have a conversation with a guy on a bus. You don't want that. Just keep smoking. History's on my side on that. Ross Perot, the businessman, ran for president and stole our hearts with his crazy phrases. We got both feet in the bucket, we can't reach the mop. It was something that he may or may not have said, but I use that as a line in my stand-up comedy routine, and people seem to enjoy it at the time. The SS Endeavor space shuttle took its first flight. I may have just made up the SS parts. That may have been short for space shuttle. So I like the idea of calling it the SS Endeavor. I like it, and I think that NASA should get on board with it. The Mall of America opens in Minneapolis. And I went there when it first opened. I went on a roller coaster, and my co-host Matt Belknap and I have Never Not Funny. We went on a couple of roller coasters very recently. So the point is, there's still a mall where you can go shopping, and then also go on a roller coaster if that's what you want to do. Finally, somebody put those two things together. There was one back in the day, old Chicago, in the Chicagoland area, that was kind of a bunch of shops surrounding an indoor amusement park that the ceiling was too low, so it was very noisy, and it wasn't very successful. But the Mall of America figured it out, how to enjoy the roller coaster and the Gap. Also, the Cartoon Network debuted in 1992, so if you're a kid or a kid at heart, certainly that was the network for you. Let's talk about what your money gets you in 1992. Gas, $1.05. A house, $122,500. And if you want to get a dozen eggs, that's 85 cents. Or a little bit more than 7 cents an egg. I'm allergic to eggs, which is I'm okay with. They kind of gross me out. Whether you want them sunny side up or scrambled or an omelet or however you eat your eggs, rancheros. I don't like them. I'm allergic to them. And again, they kind of gross me out. So it works out. It's hand in hand. Your top TV shows, 60 Minutes, Roseanne, and Home Improvement. That Tim Allen seems like a good guy. Aladdin, Few Good Men, and Wayne's World were the things to see at the theater, movie style, not the live. I love the boards. Musically, in 1992, the highest selling song, and most selling, the song that sold the most, was Boyz II Men's End of the Road, which I'm 90% sure I still haven't heard. It's not my bag. The best-selling LP was Billy Ray Cyrus's Some Gave All. Now, if you just think he's Achy Breaky Heart and you haven't heard the rest of the album, you're missing out. It's a good album. And even that song's catchy. I dare you not to like that song. You might go, hey, it's stupid because you're trying to impress your buddies on a canoe trip. But that's a good song, and it's a good album. I don't know why they're on a canoe trip. The Grammy Awards. Best New Artist went to Arrested Development, who had a couple of albums, then went on to be a successful sitcom. The Grammy for Album went to Eric Clapton's Unplugged. Hey, you know all those songs you loved in the 70s that you rocked out to? You want to hear them done acoustically and to put yourself to bed every night? Well, we're going to give that thing a trophy. I think that album single-handedly made me think I didn't like Eric Clapton. It made me forget all my years of enjoying Eric Clapton. Then that snooze came out and I go, you know what, I don't like Eric Clapton. Well, guess who's wrong? I am. He's great. It's just that album that doesn't deserve a trophy. Today I'm going to be talking about something from my record collection that I do enjoy, and that is the Gin Blossom's New Miserable Experience. Another year, another album of jangly guitar music to make Jimmy Pardo happy. This album was produced by John Hampton along with the band, and it went to number 30 on the Billboard chart. The two singles, Hey Jealousy and Found Out About You, both peaked at number 25, which I found interesting that they tied. Both of those songs were both written by both a lot of both in this sentence, were written by Doug Hopkins, who was fired from the band before the completion of this album, and then sadly went on to pass away the following year. For me, I would, as a standing-up comic, do this joke to nobody's enjoyment. I had pleurisy. I got the disease pleurisy in the summer of '92, and that is where the liquid around your lungs, and I'm really making this as simple, I'm sure there's more medical details than this, but it's basically when the liquid around your lungs dries up, and then your lung is rubbing directly against your rib cage, and it is, every time you breathe, it feels like somebody's jabbing a cheese grater into your chest. It is horrible pain, but I would talk about having pleurisy on stage, and then go, "Hey, pleurisy!" and confuse the audience with that kind of comedy. And it was a joke that I committed to because I had pleurisy, and it even hurt to do it. But I still would do it. For the craft, man. It's all about the craft. I was listening to this album on my way to and from a gig at a naval base in 1992. I was hired to do standing-up comedy there. I had done it once before there, and you know what? It went well, and I was looking forward to going back. And I showed up to the gig, and the woman in charge, Cindy was her name, she said, "Hey, I'm glad you guys are back." There was another comic named Dan with me, who he sadly has passed away as well. And he was opening up for me. I had opened the previous show and got promoted to headliner for my return visit. Probably had no business being in that spot. I was only doing comedy a few years at that point. Headliner should not have been on my resume. She's like, "I'm glad you guys are back. You guys are both, the last time you were here, you're both killed. We had a little situation last week where the headliner only did 14 minutes, and we can't have that again. But I'm not afraid of that because I've got you two guys here." And I was like, "Of course, you got us here, right? 14 minutes? You kidding me? I'm getting my first standing O at 14. Dan goes on stage. But by the way, let me say this. We walk into, this was different from the first time I was there. We walk into the showroom and they're playing that Lee Greenwood song. I think Proud to be an American, or whatever that thing, God Bless the USA, whatever that song is. And the young naval sailors are in their civvies and civilian clothing. For those that aren't in the military, I was in the KISS Army, so I understand the lingo, and I don't mean to condescend to anybody. They're all line dancing to this Lee Greenwood song with their thumbs, just like they were in the movie Roadhouse or something, or Urban Cowboy. And they've got their thumbs in their thing, in their pants, and they got belt buckles the size of trays, serving trays, and they're doing that. And I was like, "Hey, that's different than last time." No, that won't affect the show at all. They're gonna settle down and enjoy my comedy. So Dan goes up and kills. He's killing. He's working a little dirty, right? He gets the read of the room and destroys. I mean, he destroys. He's done 30 minutes. Here comes the kid to do 45. As I'm walking up, please welcome Jimmy Pardo. And I'm walking up, and a guy goes, "Are you funny?" And I go, "We're about to find out, sir." And I go on stage, and I'm killing. I'm killing for just killing. I mean, they're laughing like it's a Def Jam show. They're falling out of their seats. They're grabbing their personal business. They're enjoying themselves. Until, I don't know. To this second, I have no idea what happened, but they went from loving me to hating me like that. And I truly, it's almost as if somebody put up a sign behind me that went, "We're done, right? Start hating this guy." It was that drastic. And I don't, to this day, know why. This was 1992. We're almost 30 years into this. I don't have a clue what happened. So I'm trying to do my time, and I look down. I'm at 7 minutes. I'm not even close to doing my time. And now all I want to do is beat 14 minutes so that I'm not the story. That's I want it to be, hey, 2 weeks ago, the comic only did 14. Never mind the fact this guy did 14:01. So my watch hits 14:01, and I say, "Well, I'm going to tell you guys one more thing and then go." Cindy, the talent coordinator, looks over like, "What the?" I go, "Trust me, it's for the best." And I then, when I said to the crowd, "I'm going to do one more thing, let go," some guy stands up and goes, "Don't even tell us that, just go." And another sailor stands up and says, "Hey, leave him alone, I think he's pretty funny." Realizes nobody's on his side. He goes, "Not that effing funny," and sits back down. I tell my last joke to complete silence, and I said, "Well, that's it for me. If you see a dick, suck it." I then run off the stage. Cindy has my check in one hand and my coat in the other and says, "Get out of here, they will kill you." I then run to I go, oh, that can't be the case. And I then see, oh no, they are gathering pitchforks and torches, and they want to run the monster out of town. And they start chasing after me, and I start running to my car. And it was like a horror movie from where the mummy never gets any closer than this. So like I'm running and they never get closer. And I get to my car and I'm trying. And you know that scene in movies where the guy doesn't know how to open up his car door? And you go, well, that would never happen. It happens. It's real. I'm there and I'm digging and I'm denting my paint. I'm about to get my ass kicked, but at least I'm saving them the time of vandalizing my vehicle. Anyway, I get in, I take off, I put on the Gin Blossoms to forget all about it and drive home safely. And I'm about 10 minutes away when I realized I drove the other comic to the gig. It is now time for this week's quick hit. It is Lindsey Buckingham's Don't Look Down. Album track might have been released as a single. I don't really remember and have done little or no research, as I don't do every single week. I bought this album, Lindsey Buckingham's Out of the Cradle album, because he was a name I recognized. Music was kind of changing in the early 90s, as we know, with grunge and other stuff. And R&B was coming in, and this was stuff that wasn't the classic rock that Jimmy Pardo was used to. So whenever an artist released an album that I was aware of, I would buy it, even if I never really enjoyed them in the past. I liked Fleetwood Mac enough, but I wasn't huge into Fleetwood Mac. But here was a guy's name I recognized. I bought Out of the Cradle, and the first three songs are fantastic. You should listen to the first three songs on Out of the Cradle, in particular the song Don't Look Down. And then what ended up happening is because I like this album so much, I went back and revisited all of Fleetwood Mac stuff and loved it. And I'm on record as saying that Lindsey Buckingham is the best live guitar soloist I've ever seen in my life. And I stand by it. Hey, thank you so much for watching this week's Jimmy's Records and Tapes. If you enjoyed it, click that like button, tell your buddies about it, spread the word is my point. You can also find me on Twitter at Jimmy Pardo, or go to my website, jimmypardo.com. Get my tour dates or buy some merch, look at some other video clips, whatever you want to do, jimmypardo.com is there for you and your entertainment needs. Also, I host the award-winning podcast, Never Not Funny, so check that out too if that's your bag. Until then, the record's back in its sleeve.